Welcome to Western Wisconsin Journal. I'm Bobbi Pominville, and I'm your arts coordinator here. And you all know that I like music, so I've covered a lot of that. But my other love, big love, is art, and I would say the visual arts. So I'm going to tell you now, I'm very lucky to have this person back to interview because she is really knowing a lot about the art at the Phipps. So I'm going to welcome Leanne Pomplas to the show. And we're going to talk about a lot of things today. But I first want to ask you about your job at the Phipps because I think it's gotten bigger and bigger. You're doing a lot there.
Yeah, it kind of has. So I'm the Arts Engagement Director.
Yes.
So one of the big things I do is organize the artwork in the galleries. So I work with artists for their shows. I get to curate exhibitions, and I work with the Visual Arts Council, which is a group of volunteers who do many things at the Phipps, but one of the major things is they help with jurying the annual call for art, which is the process by which artists submit their work to be considered for a Phipps gallery show. So that is the part I love the most. I love working with artists and doing exhibitions, but other things I do, we have an arts education program at the Phipps, so we have classes for kids, for teens, and for adults. Visual art, so we have painting and drawing and pottery. We have a great pottery program, but also dance and theater classes. We have theater classes for kids and adults. So I organize our arts education program. That's another facet of what I do. And then I oversee our volunteer program. So as you know, the Phipps, has an amazing group of hundreds of volunteers who really, we can't do what we do at the Phipps without the volunteers. From working backstage to building sets, working the front of house, taking tickets and ushering. And for the Visual Arts Council, they also help hang art. So there are so many things that just would never happen at the Phipps without our volunteers. So I get to kind of oversee that and make sure it's running smoothly and reach out to people and, find new volunteers and keep our volunteers happy.
I'm really glad you brought that up because I think our audience probably has a lot of people that could feel comfortable doing things like that.
Yeah.
And I know some of them don't want to do a certain job for a certain reason, but I think the Usher program, that's been running really well. And look at the beautiful sets we've had.
Oh my gosh.
I mean,
amazing, right?
People just rave about that. And I was going to ask you now, how many galleries are there?
Well, so we have 7 gallery spaces. We have 6 that are traditional galleries, and then this past year we introduced a lobby gallery, which is more of a gallery area, which is down in our lobby. So it's not enclosed like a regular gallery, like the other galleries, but it's in one of our most public spaces.
Yes.
So when folks are coming to shows and they're kind of milling about the lobby, that's an excellent spot to take in some art without even going anywhere else in the building.
And right now you've got some really interesting things in that gallery because you can see it as you're coming up the walk.
Right.
And you're going, now what's in the gallery now? And I was like, I don't even understand how that was made, those items, but they're very shiny and glitzy and different kinds of things.
Yeah, so that's a fun show that we've had up. So the artist is Bobbi Keith. And she works in mixed media, so she does some painting, she does some collage work, she works with pastels. But the cool thing that she's done for that show, that area, is she's made groupings of her work that are inspired by our theater performance season. So each show that we've had has a group of works that either thematically relates to the show or maybe a title, or maybe visually. So right now we have some works that are inspired by our dance company. There are works from Diary of a Wimpy Kid, which was our children's theater show that has closed, and then Silent Sky. So they're super fun little groups of work that just have to do with our season. So it's been great all year because we've swapped them out as we've had different performances. We put in a new body of work by Bobbi.
That's just fascinating that she could take different shows from the Phipps and then make it into a piece of art.
Yeah.
I have to say that takes a lot of talent.
She is very talented.
In my mind. And then it's open all the time, isn't it?
The galleries?
Yeah. Is it open during shows?
The galleries are. And actually, that's one of my favorite things about the Phipps is, you know, as a multidisciplinary art center, there are different things going on. So we have our 2 theaters, we have the dance company, we have art studios, dance studios, you know, and so that brings people to the art galleries that might not necessarily seek that out. So especially during performances, the galleries are open. So I always encourage people to come, get a drink from concessions, wander through the galleries as you're waiting for the show to start, or during intermission or after. Yeah, so the galleries are always open during business hours.
Yes, I think that's a very good idea, and I think it kind of opens people more to like, oh, I might want to go see some more galleries. And I was always thinking, it used to be 5 or 6, but now it's 7 because you open the one off the lobby kind of. Yes, that's, her things are just very, very difficult to produce. I can't even imagine how she did it. For a person who's not super artistic that way, I mean, I do admire her work a lot.
As do I.
But anyway, as you know, we had Kat Nottingham on this show a couple weeks ago, and hers is on right now. But we really have to, we need to advertise something very special that's coming up called Phipps Community Day. Now, I think it was done last year.
Yeah, last year was the first time we did it.
Yeah.
And it's kind of our take on an open house. So it's an event where we're just kind of opening up the Phipps, welcoming people to come in, people who haven't been there before, people who already love it, you know, but it's an outreach event. I was so surprised when I first came. As you know, I've just been at the Phipps like less than 2 years. So I came in, and there's so many people who don't even know about the Phipps or what it does, or have a association with it, like they just think it's shows, like theater productions, or just dance classes. You know, so it's a way to let people know what we do. So it was super fun last year, and it went really well. So we're just going to build on that and make it an annual event.
Good.
So it's April 26th from 9 until 12, and we have so much in store. We have guided tours. So we'll do backstage tours of both our theaters and kind of like the backstage area where you get some demos about how things happen.
Yes.
And then Scene Shop, we'll have tours of our Scene Shop, which is, I think, my favorite place in the Phipps. It's I don't know if you've been back to the Scene Shop.
I have been back there many times.
It is huge, amazing, and really magical. People will have a chance to take a look at that. We're also going to open up our costume shop so people can see the costume collection and kind of understand what goes into costuming our shows. And then last year, the sleeper hit of the event last year was our Backstage Pipes tour, which what is a tour of the Wurlitzer Theater organ.
I'm glad you mentioned that because I want to talk about that. It's a 100-year anniversary, I believe, of the gift of the organ to the Phipps, right?
No, I think it's actually the manufacture of the organ.
Oh, that?
Because it's 1926, so it'll be in 2026. It'll be 100 years old.
So we're celebrating.
We're definitely celebrating, and you can. The cool thing about that organ is all throughout the building are the pipes for the organ. So this tour, you'll get a demo of how beautiful the organ sounds and what it can do, but also you'll get to go in little places where you would never think there were pipes to kind of see, you know, how it works and what it looks like. So that was super fun last year. So that's another tour.
I didn't know that was offered last year.
Yeah.
But I think that would be a big highlight for me and for a lot of people I know. And I have no idea where all those pipes are. or how
Well,
you even get to
come
them.
on down and you can see. But I was super excited about it last year, but I was surprised that so many, that was one of our most popular tours last year, that so many people were interested in it.
Yeah, I think that's a very good selling thing we're talking about, because I think people would come just to see that.
Yeah, no, I think so too. And
Yeah.
we'll have performances, like the Music Council will be doing some
Yeah,
musical performances.
I heard about that.
The Phipps Dance Company will be doing mini performances in the Black Box Theater. And then our show, it's the opening weekend of the SpongeBob musical, which is our children's theater show. And so the kids from that are going to do kind of a sneak peek on the stage of the Potter Theater. So
wow.
there's so much to do. It's all free. We'll have art making up in the art studio. We'll have a dance class, a hip hop class that people can take. So much going on. Oh, and another big part of it is that we're announcing the 2025-2026 theater season. So,
I didn't know that.
yeah, so we'll also celebrate kind of what's coming. You can get kind of the first look at what's coming next year.
Oh my goodness, I don't know if you could hold all those people in that area.
It's going to be.
It's going to be crazy, because last year it wasn't that well known. So I mean, you could actually find a place to sit at a little table after you talked to the main director, Ben Thiege. Did I say that right?
TG.
Thiege, I'm sorry, I apologize, Ben. I have had him on the show, and he's been great to interview, and I think he's doing a wonderful job. And did you two kind of start the same year?
We did. Yeah, he started a little bit before me. So yeah.
Very close. So there was a lot of change going on.
For sure.
And there's been so many things that have opened up more in the building, and even serving things that you can bring it into the theater and so on. We never had that before. I just think that's, a lot of people like that.
Yeah.
Because I know the last event I was at was Cantu's. Most of the people left at intermission and came back with something.
Yeah, it's nice to get some drinks and snacks.
And I think it really helps the Phipps to offer that, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
So wonderful. Yeah, okay. Now, I had to say one more thing about the art offering is I heard they're doing puppets.
For the Phipps Community Day?
Yeah.
Yes, we are going to be making some puppets up in our art studio, which will be really fun. And then not just for kids, for adults too. We'll be doing some collage project. I mean, it's going to be super
Well, I just
cool.
thought that was just a wonderful thing to bring out and to do there, because a lot of people have no idea where those classes take place.
Oh, and we'll have our ceramic studio open with some demonstrations of throwing on the pottery wheel.
Oh boy.
Which people love and is so fun to watch.
Now, that is a tough thing to do. I
It is.
know, because my husband had me try it at the high school in Baldwin one time. And of course I took painting from him too, and it was just awful. I was so embarrassed, but you know what, I tried.
There you go.
I at least tried it. I know it's not my expertise, so I went back to music and other things. But no, those offerings you have going, I just think those are such a draw. You're bound to get a lot of people.
Yeah.
So a week from Saturday, as we sit here, is the community day. And what's the hours?
So from 9 until 12 will be our community day event.
Yeah. And I think you're supposed to RSVP.
You can just show up. No need to RSVP.
Oh, you can?
Yeah.
Oh, that's even better
Just come on down.
for the audience, And then you probably would be able to do several things in that time.
Yes.
Or maybe you could meet the new director and talk to him.
Yes.
And, are you going to be available too?
Of course I will be there. Yeah.
Well, then there's going to be a lot of people interested in that.
And we have a schedule on our website. So if you go to thephips.org and events community day is there, and there's time for when the tours are going.
Yes.
For each of the tours, so people can kind of plan their day.
Oh, there's different times. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that because I was thinking, boy, I got to get in on that for Wurlitzer one, because when we were planning, I think the music council planned some of the events and the music, and a lot of the people who play the organ come back, and I don't know. I guess as a piano major, minor, whatever, vocal major, but piano is also my second major. So I love to see people go on the organ, because I did it a little bit freelance at a church, and I just admire people like that, because that takes talent.
Oh my gosh.
And a lot of these people can improvise. And then think about all the other keys you have to know. Like if you're going to have sound effects.
Right.
Like I know one time I was there for a Sherlock Holmes. Oh my goodness, it was just so real. It was like the real theater experience.
It's fun.
So, I mean, I just had to rave a little bit about that. But
I appreciate that.
yeah, so my husband's had me to just about every art gallery in Europe before
Good for
kids.
you guys.
And I have to say, I learned to appreciate. Now, I'm going to ask you a question. This is a little segue, not on our sheets. Who is your favorite artist and medium?
Oh, Bobbi.
Are you going to ask?
That is a
You're
hard
going to answer me
question.
more than one.
I
I'm
don't
sure.
even know.
Oh, it's hard to think about that, I know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, gosh, I love the visual artist Nick Cave. So he does one body of work that I love of his are called sound suits. And so he has made these head to toe artworks that you wear. So there's a performance element to them. So some of them are like just covered in fur and like things hanging like charms. And so not only, I mean, they're just visually beautiful, but then when a dancer gets into them, they're activated. And so they're really just engaging on so many levels. And, you know, he is a queer black man, and so that really informs his work and how he has tried to hide things, but also wants to celebrate. So it really strikes this beautiful balance between, because, you know, the faces and the bodies are covered, but yet they're really whimsical works. And I think, you know, he's just done such an amazing job of walking that line of tension and beauty and, you know, joy and pain. So, and they're just super cool.
Now, where have you seen that? Is that at the Phipps ever? Has it been there?
Oh gosh,
that would be in the
wish.
cities somewhere, or
in the cities. I'm sure he's been to the Walker. I've seen his work in Chicago at the Art Institute of Chicago. I saw a wonderful performance in New York. I used to live in New York at the Armory there, which was this immersive experience with dance music and curtains and things moving, and then people would come through in these sound suits and do a performance, and then, you know.
And is that done like to music? Or?
Yeah, sometimes.
Oh,
sometimes
that would be neat.
Yeah.
I would enjoy that.
I think you would. It's really accessible. It's really fun, but also there's so many layers to it that you don't maybe get right off the bat. And I love art like that. That, you know, is one thing when you just look at it, but then if you learn a little bit more, you want to learn a little bit more, it just has more depth.
You know, I didn't expect that answer
Okay.
at all, because that seems like it's really on the cutting edge of art. And it's something you would not see or hear about very often. And in fact, I wasn't even aware there was an artist who did things like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
But also, there's a lot of art that's accessible to just everybody. you know, things that they're not priced high. Like just look for things that you like, that appeal to you visually. And there's a lot out there that's at a price point that people can afford. And
that's
you
good to
shouldn't
hear.
wait and just think like, oh, it's too expensive. Like there's art out there for everybody
Yes.
at every price point. And so just,
Good.
you know, bring that into your life, you know,
Yes.
however you can.
Yes, I think thank you for making that an option, because I've always thought art could be so outpriced compared to other things. But then you always have prints,
Right.
and those are around, so I like that too.
Yeah.
So now, did we talk about all the mediums in the galleries?
No, we didn't.
Would you like to say what the other things are besides oil painting?
Sure.
I don't know what you call the one in the lobby.
Well, that's interesting. So in the Atrium Gallery,
Yeah.
which is right by the main entrance, we have Attila Ray Dabasi. And so he's super interesting. These are sculptures, and from a distance, so they're kind of found object assemblages.
Yes.
From a distance, they're like gold and kind of encrusted. They look almost like artifacts. And then when you get up really close to them, they're made of really interesting things like little plastic army men. There are little figurines, flags and stars and gemstone, like crafting gemstones.
Yes.
There's just so much to look at. It's chaotic and interesting, and I think all these things, there's so many layers to it, and he's really telling a story, and I would encourage people to go check it out.
Oh, I couldn't figure out what it was. I mean, I thought it was very kind of flashy in a way, and I didn't look that close, so I had no idea he had put all that into it.
Yeah.
So
it's definitely something that reveals more as you get closer to it.
Right. So that's really interesting. Then did we miss anything up in another gallery?
Yeah, so Gallery 1,
Yeah.
off of the lobby,
Yes.
is Linda Snoofer. So she is a printmaker. She's a botanical printmaker, which means that she actually goes out and collects like prairie grass and plants, and she uses those in her artwork. So she'll, cover those plants with her paint and then press it onto a sheet. So they're unique prints, right? Because they're never going to happen again. So she places these, prints them, and so you really get that sense of a lot of her work of being in the prairie, and the grasses and the colors are just lovely. So her work very meditative and is great.
Yes, that's quite a unique way to make art too.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm learning about different things today from you. This is great. So, now we should, there's one other question I want to get to with you, because I think there could be a lot of good answers from you. What are the upcoming art events in the galleries and whatever? Oh, by the way, before we say that, we should say this exhibit in the galleries ends on April
19th. So get down to the Phipps and see it before it's gone.
If you're watching this, you don't have a lot of time. But what is the next thing coming up in the galleries?
Yeah, so on April 25th, we have our high school art exhibition. So this is our annual show where we have high schoolers from around the region submit their work. It's not juried, so if you submit your work, it'll be on the walls. And there's still time, actually, through April 18th. High schoolers can still submit their work. So go to the website and submit. But last year we had 110 students from 18 schools and homeschoolers too. And I was blown away, Bobbi. These kids, so talented, and I just didn't know what to expect. It was the first time I had done this kind of show, and it was just really wonderful. So that's happening again.
Yes.
And at the same time, in our there's another show that runs at the same time as the high school art exhibition in the Atrium Gallery, and that's for the art group, the artist group that meets at the Phipps. They're called What We Need Is Here. And so this is a long-running group that's sort of evolving,
Yeah.
and it's a community of artists who come together and meet monthly at the Phipps, and they choose a theme at the beginning of the year. So it runs September through June, and it's a theme they're going to focus on. And so they have speakers, they go on artist studio tours and do field trips, and they just kind of really dig into a theme in their own artwork. So they are having, and then it all culminates in a spring show at the Phipps. And
Now, are these people that have taken classes or they've come together somehow?
yeah, anybody can join. You can find out more information on the Phipps website about it. But some folks have been around for a long time. There are some
Very
new
good.
members. They work in all different media. And so their show this year is called, the theme is Freedom to Thrive. And so each of their artworks is kind of dealing with that theme in different ways. So that'll be on. And both those shows run through May 18th.
Yes. Well, we've run out of time, but you know what? I think we covered most everything.
We covered a lot.
But, next time you come, we'll just have to cover more.
Sounds good.
And you'll have to describe more and tell me more about the art because I think it's just fascinating to see what people do. And I do enjoy it. So I want to thank you, Leanne, for coming today. I didn't give you much notice, but you were game for it. So thanks so much. And I know you're going to see me more at the Phipps and maybe on that community day. Well, I definitely want to go to that. But thank you for telling our audience about all these opportunities.
I'm glad to be here. Happy to do it.
Okay, you're going to be asked to be back sometime. I know that because you and I really have great conversations.
I agree.
I think. So I want to thank the audience for watching today too, and hopefully getting some ideas of how you're going to spend your days, maybe some at the Phipps. And we didn't even go through the programming, but you can find that very easily on the website. I know that. All right, so thanks for watching again, and we'll see you in a month.